Good morning, everybody. It's the 8th of September. We're Signal Centre Talking Ball. I'm Joe Neighbour, joined by Ian Coleman and Steve O'Hare. Morning, guys.
Morning, all.
Morning, guys. Morning, Mum.
Mum watching, is she? Is that the one viewer?
Yeah. Well, she said she was going to watch it, but I still don't believe it. I don't think she gets up this early.
No, exactly. Cup of tea in bed.
Well, if you are watching, good morning, Mrs. O'Hare.
Mm.
How is everybody then? Bit of a quiet day yesterday with our US friends not taking part because of their bank holiday or public holiday.
I think everyone jumped on the Brexit news, didn't they, really? I think that was the takeaway from yesterday.
Yeah.
They're not going to get to a conclusion, are they?
I don't think it doesn't look like it, is it?
It's taken how long now? Years.
It's proper handbags as well now, isn't it? There's sort of.
So what is the latest? Go on.
I just want to highlight a trade we triggered this morning, FTSE.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, just this bearish channel that we're still in. And obviously I can't see the dollar index. Where's the dollar? Oh, there it goes there. 93.13, the dollar index trading.
Oh, no, not again.
Yeah.
When you were away on holiday, that's all we talked about. That's probably why we lost all our 2 viewers that we had.
Yeah. They found it a bit boring.
It's actually that consolidating period on the left-hand side there, Stevie. Can you see it? That was it. 93.13. Just that.
Yeah. No, this is FTSE. This is FTSE.
Oh, sorry.
But it'll be sort of like quite reflective of the dollar index as well. I'm sure if we overlay dollar index, which I'm not going to try and do because, okay, I will. Yeah. So the dollar index is. You saw this sort of dip down. It's come back up, so we've pulled back a little bit. But yeah, I was more interested in this like shooting star potential on this hourly chart. So we've triggered it, got short. I think if we get a break of this level here, let's get rid of that chart so I know.
Yesterday's low.
No, it's this morning's. Yeah, this morning's low. So 59, break below 59.30, and this could sort of like easily play out nicely. So I'll take that as my gun to head challenge, selling at 59.80.
That looks really nice. That does. Just gonna drag this out while that keeps going down, just so you get a worse entry.
The only other one that I was sort of like interested in yesterday is this reverse head and shoulders formation on the Aussie 200. So this has had
doing a pairs trade then, going long FTSE, short FTSE, long Aussie.
Yeah, why not? They're the 2 main ones that are sort of like picked up on this morning. Copper is as well is looking pretty punchy, up around this 308 level. It sort of seemed to top out a little bit around here, but this is forming a bit of a bullish flag with a bias to break to the upside. So I think if we do, I'm looking to buy a dip in this morning. There's a bit of a bullish channel here. Looking to buy a dip, but if we do get a break of the previous swing high, then I think this will accelerate pretty quickly. Copper doesn't hang about once it gets on the move. Silver is still not really making any headway through this $26 support level. And again, we've sort of like bounced from just in front of it. This time's 26.30. So I'm still positive on silver, although I know you're looking at selling gold, or a little bit bearish on the gold on the short-term chart, Joe.
Yeah, very short term. Medium term, I love it, but short term, I think there's more sideways chop probably, and I think the best opportunity on an intraday basis is probably to sell that for now.
Okay. Yeah, that's sort of the markets that really sort of I found quite interesting.
Cool. Ian, you got anything you're looking at?
Dollar index again this morning, really. Sort of. I'm just wondering whether or not this trend of lower highs is going to cap. This is a 2-hour chart. Is going to cap this buying. I thought it was quite interesting. Euro dollar on the back of that. Let's have a look just at this one here. You've got that trend of lower highs in the dollar index, and of course you've got the opposite in the in euro dollar. I'm just wondering whether or not this is going to catch the bid. I mean, the medium term bias is I think quite clearly bearish. I mean, if we do get a decent recovery from here, then I think this offers a decent selling opportunity around about what sort of 119.65. Got Eurozone GDP today, haven't we? Which is expected to be absolutely disastrous. But I still think, sort of going back to the big picture, it's all these bigger levels that are playing out at the moment, really. This is the dollar index, the monthly chart that we talked about, and then we talked about euro dollar hitting these fibs. The boys are lively this morning.
Hey, morning, boys.
And cable hitting this big fib. It doesn't look like there's any sort of stopping this cable sell-off really at the moment. I better stop talking before
Proper
this
kicking off there, isn't it?
shouting out obscenities and stuff like that. Yeah. Listen, it's been
pissing
about
you off more than everybody else, I imagine.
It's been about 6 months since they've actually been up at the same time. You see.
Okay.
So now you're wishing we go back into lockdown, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I shall mute myself while you tell us what you're looking at, Joe.
Okay, well, not an awful lot, to be honest. The sort of markets that I do cover, we've sort of gone through. You've obviously chatted about dollar index. I mean, sterling, sorry, not sterling, dollar Swiss, one of the markets that I look at, looking possibly a little bit overdone. But having said that, I'm looking to buy dips a bit lower on the breakout of this channel here. So looking for some sort of retest, I guess, or a pullback before it then maybe moves higher. Sterling Swiss, another one that looks quite nice on a channel perspective. That's an hourly chart, so looking for a pullback to around about this 61.8% level from this swing move here. I think that looks like a reasonable level to try and get long. On the metals front, obviously we just spoke about gold. Got it trading within this triangle pattern. So I think from an intraday perspective, the best opportunity today is probably looking to sell rallies up to around about this 50% fib level of this swing move here. But overall, I am still bullish. Obviously, if it breaks out of this triangle, then I think it's just been merely a consolidation, and then we will see a continuation higher. Steve obviously touched upon FTSE selling off. DAX is seeing something fairly similar as well this morning. I was looking to sell that a little bit higher up, at around about 13,280, but it looks as though we may have seen the sellers step in already and going to start pushing that lower. That level there is equivalent to what you're looking at on the break level on the FTSE, Steve. So the DAX has actually already broken that. Not quite on a closing basis yet on the hourly charts, but it's looking pretty close. So that may drag that a bit lower throughout the rest of the day. And looking at the US markets as well, actually, just looking at the NASDAQ, that looked a little bit bearish as well in the very short term. Clearly, US markets look powerful over the more medium term, but following on from the holiday yesterday, choppy price action in futures, maybe a retest of this broken trend line, which I've got that goes down to these lows here on the 15th of June. So maybe a retest of that trend line on the underside might provide opportunities to get short for a deeper correction in the Nasdaq. So maybe one to watch there.
Pretty much it's going to be quite tough, isn't it? With if you're going to have this correction in Nasdaq, it's going to naturally have an effect on the Dow, the S&P, with dragging it lower. Just because it's having a sell-off, because you do get them all complementing each other when they do have a big move. But Nasdaq is way has extended way above all the others, and so has a
it's been pretty much a tech-led rally, hasn't it? So,
so it's within its right to do whatever it wants to do on its own. Do you know what I mean? And there's the Dow and the S&P shouldn't be reacting as on an equivalent basis. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
doesn't sound like
the daily chart. So this is the lows from the 23rd of March I've got a break of that trend line there, break below or close below that 10 period moving average on the daily chart as well. So just looking for maybe a retest of that underside of that moving average to maybe trigger a bit more selling. But clearly the underlying trend is bullish, but you could see easily 38.2 or a 50% correction, which would be a decent opportunity on the downside to try and make some money. But overall, it is still bullish. So news-wise today, with regards to US markets, Trump said he intends to curb the US's economic relationship with China, threatening to punish American companies that create jobs overseas and forbid those that do from conducting business in China from winning federal contracts. So taking a very hard line, as he continues to do with China. And he's saying that a decoupling from China could save the US billions of dollars. So he's obviously trying to push that pretty hard, as he often does. So that may or may not impact markets today when we see them open up following the long weekend. With regards to Brexit, we touched upon that at the start of the show. Latest round of talks set to get underway today. Both sides not really seeming to be getting along too well, and I think that's obviously going to dominate the agenda today, because we do have that European GDP number as well, which is due out at 10. Is that right? 10 o'clock. Eurozone GDP. Year-on-year growth is expected to be minus 15%. So looking for something a little bit better than that. As for a surprise potentially on the upside. Anything worse than that, then we could see a further sell-off in these European indices.
I mean, the UK Housing Minister, Jenrick, just talking about the UK leaving with no deal. He says we already have a deal. We already left with a deal. We wanted a Canadian deal, and that is possible. If the EU is not flexible, then we will leave with an Australia-style deal. So, whether we actually sort of like say there's a deal or not, whatever, we've sort of like, he seems to think that we've left with one anyway. So stop worrying about it all, apparently.
All a bit confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like, it's very confusing. I'm confused. Do I look confused? Do I look like I know what I'm doing? So yeah, it's just noise, isn't it? Just noise.
Yeah, it would seem that way. Let's have a look at the guns to the head stuff then. No. So yesterday we had myself and Ian went long of cable, which we both got hit on.
Oh, yeah, why would you do that?
Yeah, well, that was the benefit of hindsight, hey? So I had one R loss. I wasn't as aggressive as Ian, but the end result was still the same. We both lost 1R. Steve, you kept us in we still lost overall, but you saved us some R with a 1.33R win on Aussie 200. So who's going to come up with the goods today?
Well, I'm happy to go. Let me think. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Anyone
gone off footsie, have you?
Yeah, no, I'm already in footsie. Did I not tell you that? I'm taking that level 59.80 as the entry. I'm going to go for silver. I think where we're trading now, 26.96. So let's get ready to rumble. 26.96, and we're going to target 28.80. No, 28.96 and 25.96. Stop. So a 2-to-1 risk reward, buying silver at market 26.96, targeting 28.96, and stop at 25.96.
Good luck.
Beautiful.
Boring Arsenal, I hear them shout.
I'm going short of the dollar index again. Third time lucky. Getting short 93.08, targeting that right shoulder down there at 92.13 with a stop below today's swing high. So I want some really nice GDP figures from the Eurozone. By the looks of it, stop at 93.21 gives me 7.3R for a boomer.
Oh, lovely.
You never know. Got to be
You never know. I'm going to take a look at CAC. We talked about the indices potentially looking vulnerable to a bit of a sell-off today. CAC looks to be the worst performing out of the major European indices that we look at, which is DAX, CAC, and FTSE. We spoke about that overnight low, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's broken below that. Looks as though it's going to close below that now, coming up for the close of the hour. So I'm going to sell that with a stop above the swing high from this morning at 50.78, getting short of 50.39, targeting a move down to this swing low that we saw on the 1st of September at 48.92, giving me 3.56R if that comes in.
Lovely.
Nice one.
Let's see. Anything else for us to cover news-wise that you guys have seen?
Not really. No.
Okay.
No, nothing.
You read the same pink sheets as us, Joe. So
yeah. In which case, then I guess we can wrap it up for the day.
Yeah, lovely. All right.
Cool.
Good luck, everyone.
Yep. Have a great day, and we'll catch you all tomorrow.
cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.